This is Dave McCain with the Right Tree Genealogy, and I've decided to do a video on the new feature added as of April time frame from where I found it on Ancestry.com. And the video is Ancestry.com, my thoughts on the new feature, Ethnicity Inheritance. This is Dave McCain, a family genealogist, and all the data you're about to see is from my personal kits. After you log into your account, you'll go to the DNA, and when you go to the DNA, you click what you've probably seen before, and this ethnicities estimates button, discover your DNA story. You click here. Then you'll go to this common page that you've seen over time. This is my personal kit, and this shows you my ethnicity estimates as of the latest update that they provided. 51% England and Northwest Europe, 16% Ireland, 11% Norway, 10% Scotland, 7% Wales, Sweden and Denmark 5%. I do want to point out, when you look at this, Norway and Sweden are near each other, so there's always going to be times that things can cross over, and you may see it how it recombines, your DNA recombines. It could cause you to show one or the other. So the new feature is at the bottom of this page. So you scroll down. When you scroll down, this is what you see. Below the ethnicity estimates, you'll see ethnicity inheritance. And when you see the ethnicity inheritance, you'll see a button that says view breakdown. So it says that you inherited this from parent 1 and you inherited this from parent 2. They're not saying which ones the parent are yet. Matter of fact, they probably will never actually say which parent it is, but you'll be able to name it in the future revisions of this from everything I've picked up on. So let's go a little deeper on this. As I click that button and I see my regions, and it says what each one of them is. The England and Northwest Europe is all this lighter green color. Ireland, Norway, and it just swings around on me through the list here. And etc. So now let's go down to the bottom of the page and see that a little more clearly. So it says parent 1 gave me, in this case, look at this right here. It says Norway, parent number 1 gave me 11%, 0% from parent 2. Scotland, 10% from parent 1, 0 from parent 2. Another one here, Wales, 7% from 1, 0 from parent 2. And then down here, look at all these interesting, I got it one, not the other, 5% Swedish and Denmark. Now, if you do not have your parents tested at this point, this is giving you the information that as they see it based on the matches. What this means is based on their estimation on your matches. It's not that they're looking at your parents' test. They don't know your test is in there. They're looking at how your matches tie together and distinguishing between one parent and another parent, the way the DNA would have been derived. My parent 1, ethnicity inheritance, that what they had, and the same circle with the different breakdown. And here's parent 1's breakdown. This is one of my parents, and I'll tell you later on in the video, I'll disclose which one is each. But as of right now, so parent 1 has 30% Scottish, 25% England and Northwest Europe, 17% Wales, 16% Irish or Ireland, and Sweden says 12%, and it's the same way for me. So now I'm going to go to parent 2, same type of thing. And the second slide here is parent number 2 had a mother and a father that gave it to him at 62% England and Northwestern Europe. That's their makeup, and down through these numbers. As I was showing here, that's the two different parents. Now let's look at the next comparison. This is actually my father's DNA. This is my mother's DNA. And this is me. Looking at that same table, that it's the breakdown or detailed comparison of the data. So my father has 30% Scotland, my mother has 11% Scotland, and I show 10%. So I'm going, I got it from one parent only. My numbers say 10% and 0, but I don't know which one that is. Well, you go down through each one of these, and now that I have my parents, the key here is you do not inherit 100% from either parent. Even though each parent has different ethnicity estimates than you do in some regards, you still only inherited 50% of each one of them. It's just how it recombined. So as I go down through each one of these numbers, I get to the following. Okay? Now, me, I show one parent gives me 41% England and Northwestern Europe. Well, my mother has 62% of her DNA makeup is England and Northwestern Europe. Well, my father only shows 25% England and Northwestern Europe. He cannot give more than the 25% he inherited. So when you look at that, I go, okay, that's the mama one. This is what I'm saying. Parent 2 is mom here. And then I go down through the next one, and I go, Ireland. Both parents have Ireland. However, parent number 1 shows 12% of me is made up from the one parent. Well, my father has 16% Irish. My mother only has 7%. Well, then that kind of leans me toward parent 1 being the father. And then here's another one I just marked that it says 5% Sweden and Denmark. Well, my mom has 5% Sweden and Denmark, but my father also has 12%. And again, I wanted to point out what I said earlier. You have Norway, which you notice I didn't even talk about it. My mother has a 6% Norwegian. Well, I'm showing 11%. Well, my father doesn't show any Norwegian here. However, it's very plausible that Sweden and Norway are a combination for him, and it's reading to me or to the system that that's more Norway. So I couldn't say that there's one that seemed to be from one parent. Now, with this said, I decided to focus on the two obvious ones that I can define which parent is which. So I am saying parent 1 is my father and parent 2 is my mother, and you probably figured that out already in this video. So, and the reason is, and I'm using the numbers here, is parent 1 has 12%, and again, this is looking at actual data from all three of them. This isn't made up. This is the numbers that they show for them. So my father shows 16% Ireland as his makeup, and parent 1 has 12% donation of that DNA to me, and parent 2 has 4%. Well, since my mom only has 7%, she's not going to be able to give me 12, and since these are distinguishing between two parents, this falls to my father. And then on going back to the first one again, my mother is 62% England and Northwestern Europe. Well, my father's only 25%. So since one parent is giving 41% and the other one is giving 10%, I got it blocked here, but it's on there. We can go back to this one, 10%, giving me 51%. I will say it's pretty easy to fair to give this one to my mother. What that basically means is, based on my review, it appears Ancestry, conclusions wise, Ancestry has done a good job of distinguishing between my two parents. However, I still would say these are for reference numbers. You look at these percentages same as you did before, and don't look at the as total fact that, oh, I'm this percentage from this one, I'm this percentage from that one, because again, your parents are percentages of their parents. However, I believe they've gotten better at what they're doing. If you look at it, it looks like to me, and these are going to talk about the ones that I did not mark, is Norway appears that this Sweden and Denmark 12% is actually being read as Norwegian from my father here. My father is 30% Scottish. My mother is 11%, and it based on this, my father, I only got 10%, and it's saying from the father's line here. And then on the Wales, it's 7% from the father. He had 17%. My mother had 9%. So again, I got all of it from him on this. And then on the Sweden and Denmark, the actual Swedish and Denmark, what I inherited from her was straight through what she had in her inheritance. I inherited from her. So again, I think it's working out pretty well looking at the numbers. My real numbers comparing this, even though they don't do that on Ancestry, I took their numbers and looked at them, and they show that one parent would be able to give me that and the other parent could give me the other. So I'm still up in the air on the final data that's going to be available, but my thoughts on this is it's a good thing to look at. I think they're getting better. I never recommend anybody looking at the percentages as I am this and I am that percentage, but do look at them as you have that content in you. You have, in my case, I do have Irish in me. I do have Norwegian in me. I do have Scottish in me. I do have Wales, and I do have Swedish and Denmark, which could kind of correlate with the Norwegian. So those are kind of all combined areas there. But the Wales and England and Northwestern Europe can also be considered a combination as well. Take a look at it. I suggest you go take a look at your data and see what you think. So I hope this video was informative. It's kind of a light video, but it's a new feature on Ancestry. If you have your DNA done, and I do suggest you get it done at Ancestry, my recommendation, just take a look at this and start playing with it and say, hey, yeah, this makes sense. My father would do this, or my mother would have this, and see if you can figure out which one of the two are your father and your mother. I hope this was, again, informative to you. Please consider subscribing right here or watch some of these other videos, and let's continue to learn together.